see you.
Nice to see you too. How are things?
All right. Spring is springing.
Good.
Yeah, slowly but
Did you
surely.
motor here, two-wheeler?
Not today.
Okay.
Not today. My house was very cold this evening, and so I thought it was colder outside than it was.
I turned the heat on yesterday and it was much colder today than it should have been when I came home.
Yeah, I went out with a big heavy coat on and got it's colder inside than it is outside today.
Wait, yeah, exactly.
Okay, get a little serious here now, please.
We'll get this meeting started. Welcome, everyone, to the April 14th, 2025 Town Board meeting. Would you please join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for coming. Councilman McCann is excused tonight. We have no public hearing, so we'll go right into the consent agenda. And before I make that motion, I just want to mention that 3C, the battery energy storage system, got put in the wrong place, so that will not be part of this motion. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the Town Board meeting for March 24th, 2025, and the abstract of claims for April 14th, 2025, with the exception of voucher number 456 in the amount of $1,980.
So moved.
Motion by Ray, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jim. Comments or discussion?
Close.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is audience one, an opportunity to address the board on anything on the agenda. If anyone would like to step forward, please step up to the mic, give us your name and address, and let us know your thoughts. Seeing no one, we'll move on to unfinished business. First is the trail markers. Can I have a motion to rescind the November 25, 2024 action number 398 that approved the purchase of the trail markers at a cost of $500 using the ARPA funds, and approve the purchase of the trail markers from Blue Devil Design at a cost of $588.44 to be dispersed from line A7110.444.
So moved.
Motion by Jim, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ray. Comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next is a payment to Azar. Can I have a motion to approve payment number one to Azar Design Company in the amount of $20,043.16 for professional services rendered from November 11, 2024 through March 28, 2025 for the Brookley Drive Bridge Replacement Project. Funds will be dispersed from line H75120.210.
So moved.
Motion by Luke. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ray. Comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And another one from Azar. Can I have a motion to approve payment number 4 to Azar Design Company in the amount of $3,925.86 for professional services rendered from March 1st through March 28th of 2025 for the Cornwall Road Culvert Replacement Project? Funds will be dispersed from line H75120.210.
So moved.
Motion by Jim. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ray. Comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next is the battery energy storage system moratorium. Can I have a motion to approve asking our town attorney to prepare a local law for the moratorium on battery energy storage systems for the town of Aurora?
So moved.
Motion by Luke. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Second to Jim. Comments or discussion?
You have a duration for that?
Pardon me?
The duration, 6 months?
6 months, yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Should we get the planning board's thoughts on that, you think?
Should we what?
Get the planning board's thoughts? The planning board on that local law?
Well, we already sent it to them on,
We did, yeah?
Yeah.
well,
I think we,
I don't, and we don't need to, I just, you know,
but didn't we already get?
I think,
on a,
I think we already did. I think. But I think a lot.
I think on the zoning, they spoke about
on
it,
the rezone.
on the rezone. We don't have to, it's okay, yeah.
Your thoughts? I mean,
Jim?
frankly, it was their idea.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was, but, I mean, why don't we, instead of formally sending to him as a courtesy, we'll send him a proposed what the law is and see if Doug has any comments. I don't know when I think his next meeting is next week, isn't it?
Not for a
No,
couple.
it won't be until the first Wednesday,
It'll be the first Wednesday? Okay.
first of next month.
Yeah.
Oh, so a couple of weeks.
But let's draft the local law and
Yeah, let's
and get their
move in that
approval from
direction. Yeah.
Good.
them. Okay? Good with that, Luke?
Yep.
And next is an out-of-district water agreement. Can I have a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the out-of-water district water agreement between the town of Aurora and the property owners of record at 8739 Falls Road, town of Colden, New York?
So moved.
Motion by Jim. Can I have a second?
Second?
Second by Luke. Comments or discussion?
I do have a question. I know we've talked about this before, but certainly you've been on the board and involved much longer than I have. What is your history, what is your knowledge of persons outside the district asking for water? I mean, is that something,
Well, we send them, and Martha could give you a better explanation,
Right.
but we send them this is, they join in, like this particular one is, I believe it's 18, isn't it? Whatever the maintenance is for Water District 18, they're made well aware of that, they pay their share of that, and it's just as if they were a resident of a new house, just that they're out of district. We do have an agreement with their town that if they don't pay their water bill,
that'll go on their tax bill?
it goes on their tax bill.
Right. And I guess the question maybe, Martha, if you know, is how common is this? How, because I thought we did it once before.
We've done it several
Recently.
times.
We do. When Water District 18 was formed,
Yeah.
we probably had 20 to 25 of them
Okay.
because it was a new district. And now as homes go in, or people buy the homes that don't have the water, sometimes they want to, sometimes they don't.
Okay.
And then they're wells too.
Okay, true. Thank you so much, appreciate it.
Any other comments?
None.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we'll go to new business, and I need to add 2 items. Can I have a motion to add 6K, which would be the appointment of Henry Selkirk? Selkirk?
Selkirk.
Is that how I'm pronouncing it? Okay, can I have a motion to appoint, can I have a motion to add 6K, which would be the appointment of Henry Selkirk?
I will do so.
Motion by Ray, can I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Jim. Comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And also, can I have a motion to add the agreement discussion for Fontenay's, Foltz, Albrecht, and Hertz regarding Warren Park, which would be 6L.
So moved.
Motion by Luke. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Jim. Comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So the first item under new business is a temporary use permit Can I have a motion, I'm sorry, especially, temporary use permit. Can I have a motion to approve the temporary use permit for a cricket game at the Polo Field on May 31st?
So moved.
Motion by Ray, can I have a second?
Cricket.
Second?
Second by Luke. Comments or discussion? I have a comment. I would like to, it's not very often we get an application with this kind of candid comments in it. And in the application, it says, is there any additional information that you believe that the board would like to hear? And it says, this is exactly as it's written. It says, this event is a bunch of old guys trying to play cricket for the first time. The average age is 62. We've been doing this competition amongst ourselves for 20 years. Cricket came into play because last year's champion, after 2.5 days of games, is from Pakistan, and he gets to choose one of the sports, to my dismay.
So you wouldn't
I
mind if
just
it
thought
was
that
turned
was
down?
great. Do you have any comments you'd like to say?
This is my brother-in-law, and he is a character. I would-
Sounds like you guys are going to have a good time.
Yeah.
It will be, for sure.
And how do you expect to get it done in only 3.5 hours?
There are other events, believe me.
Okay.
It is a full 2 days, so people have it all planned out, I'm sure,
And spectators are welcome?
if they want to. You know, 60-year-old guys swinging bats at each other, I don't know if that's good entertainment or not.
Oh, gosh.
God bless you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is a motion to amend the budget to properly record the JCAP grant as follows. Can I have a motion to increase revenue line A3389 JCAP by $7,922 and increase the appropriation line A1110.401 office space supplies by $7,922?
So moved.
Motion by Luke, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by
Second.
Ray. Comments or discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is a personnel policy update. Can I have a motion to approve adding the requested section regarding cancer screening to the town's personnel policy as written?
So moved.
Motion by Jim. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ray. Comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Is that the same?
Oh. Oh. In addition to that, can I have another motion to approve, to add the following to paragraph 4 in section 4.02 sick leave? Sick leave shall not be used for any purpose other than the employee's legitimate illness or medical appointments, except that an employee may use up to 5 days available of sick leave per year to attend to illness of an immediate family member, meaning a family member who resides in the same household as the employee. Can I have that motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ray, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Luke. Comments or discussion?
I almost, while we're changing this, that language, accept that, does that make sense? Sick leave shall not be used for any purpose other than the employee's,
Legitimate illness.
right, and we're adding or medical appointments, fine, except that an employee may use up to 5 days. I mean, I get the point here.
I believe this is right out of the state law.
Could be just written so,
I think the I mean, you maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're saying, but it's the illness of yourself and then accept is the illness for somebody else, right?
right, you can use up to 5 days of sick leave for someone else.
Right.
Yeah, it's just the way this is written, it's a bit unclear, but it's okay, we don't have to do it, as long as it makes sense.
You good?
Yeah. Attorneys.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could just use the word or, you know?
I like accept, okay?
Bridget?
Provided, however. is-
Yeah.
Anyone else? I think we should ask the students in the court.
You good with it, Luke?
Yeah, yeah. Not really, but yeah, it's fine.
It'll work.
Did we vote on that?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is another request from Kathleen. Can I have a motion to approve the use of the debt reserve funds to make a $45,000 principal and an $877.50 interest payment to Greene County Commercial Bank for the Glebe Avenue parking lot bond? The payment is due on 4/15/2025 and is the final payment. And also, use the remaining balance of $5,500 as partial payment for equipment, the equipment bond due 4/15/2025 with Greene County Commercial Bank.
So moved.
Motion by Luke, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ray, comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is just a formality. Can I have a motion to approve the Cornell Cooperative Extension permission to set up a 10-by-10 tent at the back entrance of the senior center on May 6, 2025, from 4:30 to no later than sunset?
So moved.
Motion by Jim, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Luke. Comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is a civil service from Liz. Can I have a motion to approve a civil service title change for Dorothy Bailey from clerk part-time to clerk part-time seasonal, effective May 5th, 2025 through September 19th, 2025?
So moved.
Motion by Ray, motion by Jim, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ray, comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carried. Next. Can I have a motion to refer the special use permit application for the property at 1756 Hubbard Road to the planning board for review and recommendation?
So moved.
Motion by Luke, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ray, comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is Feed More WNY. Can I have a motion to approve the supervisor to sign the memorandum of understanding with Feed More WNY as written?
So moved.
Motion by Jim, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ray, comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Next is a request from Liz DeViso. Can I have a motion to approve a 10-hour, 4-day work week for highway employees from April 28th, 2025 to August 29th, 2025?
So moved.
Motion by Luke, can I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Jim, comments or discussion?
Can I just, a question for Dave? I know we've done this every single year. It seems like it's a great idea. Is there anything you can add to that? Just,
Yeah,
I'm
so,
happy with it. I'm happy to vote for it.
Yeah. Thank you.
but-
yeah, so we've been doing this for 17 years now. Basically, what it allows us to do is save on a lot of overtime because we're able to then schedule like our paving for those 10-hour days. So like in 2 weeks, and I was going to announce at my report, we're paving Sweet Road. those days aren't going to be done in 10 hours, in 8 hours. So the theory is, it does save us in the long run, but also too, it's a nice benefit for the employees, and again, to try to give them a good work environment. So it's kind of a win-win for the taxpayer and for the employee. So that's why we started it earlier this year, was because of
gonna ask you that.
Yeah, normally, Chuck, it's about the first week of May,
Yeah.
but it usually ends right before Labor Day, and the reason is it starts getting dark, and then it makes no sense to come in early because, you can't work in the dark, so, but, yeah. So I definitely support it, but our Parks Department and our other departments do continue to work. I still work, Liz still works, it's just purely the Highway Department workers.
And generally, the employees, you say, are happy with that, right? They like.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
so-
plus.
Yeah, and it's actually, even when you recruit people to come to work for us, it's really a nice thing to say at your interview to them, and they light up, and they go, wow, 3-day weekends in the summer.
Yeah.
It's pretty attractive, so.
Is there
Wonderful.
any coverage on the off day?
Well, no, okay, like.
Aside from you?
Yeah, no, so like even I announced to the guys this morning, we're paving that week, and I do put them on notice that, if we get some rain days and it pushes till Friday, we got to keep paving.
Sure.
The only downside is then we would get whacked totally with overtime, so absolutely.
Okay.
Summer generally, we don't have a lot of emergency call-outs unless there's a windstorm or something.
No
but
snowstorms.
Yeah, absolutely. The guys are on 7 days a week, whatever's needed. But again, in the summer, it's generally less, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
I'd sign up.
I wish I could.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Vote on it again, and then go to the second.
Next, we have a request from the building department. Can I have a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the MS4 annual report interim progress certification for 2025?
So move.
Motion by Jim. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by
Ray.
Ray. Comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next is a request from me. Can I have a motion to appoint Henry Selkirk, residing at 561 South Street, East Aurora, New York, to fill Jen Brazil's vacancy in the Open Space Committee, with his term ending 12/31/2026?
So moved.
Motion by Ray. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Jim. Comments or discussion?
Yeah, I know, I spoke to Ray about this as well before. I do think we want to continue the policy of opening it up, advertising for all of the appointees on the board. This one is, Henry has been coming to the meetings and has been quite active, and it's the mid-year, so I think we can make the exception again. But I do like that practice of putting it on social media, advertising, and then interviewing. I think that does help in addressing getting the best people and also drumming up interest and showing people that we've got active stuff. So this one's fine, we'll go through, but I just wanted to,
Did we know this?
Just wanted to be
gentleman's been,
grumpy for a bit.
Resigned from the committee? Is that why this?
she resigned a while ago, so.
Yeah, she resigned a while ago, and we just didn't have anybody that
Okay.
fit with that. And actually, because we've advertised, there was another individual that raised their hand, and there may be some people resigning from the board.
Okay.
So we may want to take a look at that, and like we did with the planning board.
Right.
Put somebody in as an alternate so that we have people trained, specifically with GIS. We need information there. That might be something we want to consider, but, we're vetting the person, making sure that, it's a good fit. But his resume is pretty impressive.
That reminds me, we should meet with Henry to talk about the natural resource inventory, because he did some work already on that, and
Did I forward it to everyone or no?
I don't think so,
Okay,
no.
I will. Yeah, he's going to have a final draft at the next meeting.
And, well, we should get together and
Yeah.
talk to him about it, yeah.
Right, for the Climate Smart. Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else?
Nope, that's good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And next is a request from Kathleen. Can I have a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the architectural proposal with Fountainese Foltz, Albrecht and Ertz, and to amend the budget to record the payments as follows. Decrease line A 1990 contingent account by $4,850 and add appropriation line A7110.413 professional services and increase the amount by $4,850.
So moved.
Motion by Luke, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ray, comments or discussion?
Are you going to talk about this, or, yeah?
Go ahead.
No, I mean, this is a great proposal, and thanks for getting it over, he's not listening, but these are the types of things that we have to have in place when we look to get funding to be able to proceed with projects, and if we have a plan that is well thought out, that we can get community input on, and be able to include it in the submission for a grant, that really makes a big difference, I think. And so getting ahead of it like this is great. Warren Drive needs a little TLC, and even if we, in this grant cycle are not successful, we'll have it for the future. And so it's a great idea, and I'm really glad we've got it.
It's
Got it here.
really almost like a village park, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, with the number of residences that surround it.
I mean, it's obviously right in the middle of the village, yeah. But just so everybody knows, this is for the beginnings of getting a grant to upgrade the pavilion and the bathrooms and some of the other things, not necessarily, or not at all, actually, park equipment, but buildings and so on. So, thank you, Paul, for getting that together.
Yeah.
Luke and I have worked with Robin to get this to this step. We should, well, the deadline is like 3 weeks, so we'll know where we stand on this before too long.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And under communication, I have the February 2025 recreation report, and then I have all of the rest of these are the March 2025 report from the town clerk tax, the town clerk, senior center, dog control, the building department, work requisitions, recreation for March 2025, and the supervisor's report. Business from board members, and we'll start with Luke.
Yeah, really busy lately. The only thing I'd say is thanks to Sue Russell and the Climate Smart Community Task Force for putting together a pretty fun evening, I think, as fun as it can be, a game about our future greenhouse gas emissions. And glad to say that the town board team did not come in last. We were in fourth place out of how many teams? Maybe 12 or 13?
Something like that.
So we were pretty good. The co-op team won. I don't know what their secret was, but we had quite a few teams, including the Open Space and Planning together. Doug is here, and we had the Zoning Board of Appeals, the ZBA, had a team, and so I don't know where you guys came in. I don't know if you were third? Yeah, see.
There you go.
Yeah, that's why we refer things to ZBA. You're smarter than us. So.
Engineers,
Yeah. So it was a really good event, and that all, of course, is part of meeting our requirement for public input to our community greenhouse gas inventory, which is one of the steps in the Climate Smart Community Program. In addition to that, we have been selected to receive a free fleet inventory audit to look at how we can move forward with all of our equipment in the future. It's not anything we would have to do, of course, but there's a consultant that comes around and looks at other highway departments, and they'll tell us what their thoughts are just on how we'd be able to think about what type of equipment there'll be around in the future, when sort of electric dump trucks or whatever are going to come out, and what space you would need for it and whatever. So it's just might not be worth anything, might give us some insight into how the future will be. So that's exciting that we were selected, and we were selected because we're really leading the way here in Western New York. So we're the one community that gets that. And then the last thing is two more things on that. Number one, the tool drop-off event is not the same as the Dare to Repair Cafe that we're planning. That is in the future. I don't remember the date right now, but it's not in May. It's in the end of July.
July 26th.
July 26th, I think it is. Yeah. So just not to get that confused. That was just a Master Gardener Club is meeting over here, and so they can drop off tools for Providence Farm to give them away. But Dare to Repair Cafe will be the end of July. So Yeah, lots of other things, but that's enough for tonight.
Thanks, Lou. Jim?
I have nothing to report tonight.
Ray?
Okay, yeah, just a couple of things. Number one, we did have our comprehensive plan update meeting regularly scheduled on the 8th, last Tuesday. And while we got a lot of great information, had a lot of great discussion, unfortunately, some things were missing, and the issue was that Labella had a cyber attack, and they were not able to access their shared drive. So they were able to pull information, mine information from emails, from hard drives. So they were able to give us a lot of good information. But what we were missing for that update was the existing conditions report update, the climate vulnerability assessment, and also the final community profile. So that information is being worked on now. The drive is up. They estimate that very little information was compromised. So they're updating the information right now. We should get that by the end of April, and then we'll have an additional meeting so we can review all the information before we go to the next step, which is prioritizing and evaluating the information. So we will have our next meeting in June, formal meeting, and then in July we'll have another public update. So those things are coming up. It's moving along really well. And like I said, I think, we had a great meeting back last Tuesday, and the momentum continues to build. And then the second thing is, walking out of that meeting, I had a chance to talk to Nancy Burkhart, and she made me aware that there was a Western New York Regional Economic Development Council meeting. And the reason why it caught my interest is there was going to be an update on the Bills Stadium. Okay, so I went there. It was really impressive. Two words were welcoming and intimidating. So welcoming for the guest experience if you go to a game, but intimidating to the team because it's really tight confines for the stadium seating. So between the noise, the enclosure overhead, the closeness of the fans to the opposing team, that can be very intimidating. So those were the two keys in their vision looking forward that they wanted to emphasize, and they're following through. And if you see the pictures, it's just amazing. But the second thing that really caught my ear was the fact that they also updated us on sports tourism in the Western New York region, and the fact that you've got a $500 million impact when it comes to the professional sports in Western New York. And we have spillover effect, even from, the Highmark Stadium, and the fact that, people come from the east, if they're traveling from out of town, they have to use hotels. Not every, the area there isn't robust when it comes to a lot of hotels and restaurants. So we get that spillover effect. But in addition to that $500 million, there's also about $80 million in amateur sports. So amateur sports, almost every weekend in the summer, you're going to find soccer tournament. We're going to be hosting the Lancaster tournament again, the soccer tournament here in East Aurora. So we have the ability for people to come here, go to our shops, go to our restaurants, experience the cultural aspects of this town. And one of the things that they did announce is the fact that, no matter whether, the sport, paddle, ball, field, court, there's a sport for it. And there's an amateur sport event that's being held. As a matter of fact, in 2026, there's going to be the U.S. Amateur Disc Golf Championship that's going to be held in Western New York. There's going to be two sites in Niagara County, two sites here in Erie County, and one of them is going to be Emery Park.
It's Joe's home field.
I've played there a number of times with my dog. I've never lost to her, so I'm pretty proud of my record there. But it's a well-recognized course. It's called
Right.
Black Diamond, I believe. And so they're going to be bringing that event here in 2026. So again, there's opportunities there for the community to really partner with those events and potentially see some increased income, revenue as a result of that. So that was pretty interesting. Okay, that's it.
Are those, so Nancy actually said that we were all welcome and it was great to see you at that event. If that's something that you think we should kind of send someone to in the future.
Sure.
She also did say you did not embarrass us, which I was surprised about, but
I tried not to.
yeah. But she said we're always invited and it was great to see you and it was noticeable that someone from Aurora was there. So if it's worth it, we could,
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. There's a lot of good information there, no doubt. And, and they had renderings of not just the inside of the stadium, but also outside, and at least 3 or 4 times they made mention of the fact these are just concepts. Don't take, what you see here to the bank. It's just ideas about what they could do, in the area around the stadium. So, yeah,
Thank you, Ray.
you bet.
I just have a couple things. First is I received an email earlier today that let us know that the end of the month, Great Lakes Playground is going to start the pool park playground equipment installation. Do you know about that, Dave?
Yep.
You do? Okay, okay. I just want to make sure there.
We're good to help them with everything.
I think that should go fairly smooth. And also, I had a rather long meeting with Chris Brooks, the president from Going at Speed, the end of last week. Amongst other things, we talked about his schedule. They had originally hoped to have the tree trimming done by the 1st of May, end of April, first part of May. But he said between the snowstorms and the heavy weather that we had this past winter, and not only that, but the storms that they had up near Syracuse and that area there, they got called off several times here. So they won't be done by early May, he said. He says, I'm sure it'll be into June.
So that's just the tree trimming, right?
It's just the tree trimming. But they are tying into some homes already. So he said, we're going slowly at it. We want to make sure we have all the T's crossed and the I's dotted. But they are tying into homes.
Great.
That's all I have. Next is audience 2, an opportunity to address the board on any topics. Please come up to the mic and give us your name and address. Let us know your thoughts if you'd like to come up, girls.
We won't sign unless. Come on.
Please.
Jim always says that. Staff reports. Let's go this way around the room. Let's start with Doug. Nothing tonight. Paul? Liz?
Just a couple of things on that MS4 report. You're familiar, it's a different format this year than what you've seen, but it's pretty much the same information with an additional 6 months of updates to our stormwater management plan. We have a 5-year cycle that we have to look at that, so we'll have different items to focus on for next year. But for the last 6 months, we've developed and implemented a construction oversight program. We have 22 sites in town, 3 of which are schools, so we don't inspect that. We had to prioritize them based upon what areas of town those were located in and if they impacted a impaired waterway, of which we have 1 in town, and that's up in the northwest corner by Smoke Creek. And then we had to develop and implement a post-construction stormwater program inspection and maintenance program. So that's in place. We have 6 post-construction measures that have to be inspected on an annual basis, 2 of which have to get added, and those will be coming up in the future as Erie County, as our Stormwater Coalition is working on mapping over the next year or 2. So. But this plan is always available in my office if anyone wants to have a read, both for board members and the public.
Well, thank you for that, Liz. We appreciate that. Chief?
Last Saturday, we participated in the town recreation department's egg hunt touch a truck. Our newest officer, Officer Soroka, was there with a police car. He said that was a good event. This Saturday will be help me to facilitate the Bunny Hop annual Easter run on Beach and Mill Road. At this point, we're putting the speed monitoring signs back out. Those are done by request. Unless we have no request, then we pick where they go. They just light up, they flash, they tell people their speed. It kind of reminds people that they're in certain speed zones and to keep their speeds in check. And lastly, of note, last month, we sent Officers Foster and Schultz to a 2-day training with the Western New York Law Enforcement Helpline. And they're now trained in critical incident stress debriefing, which is important when first responders come across, incidents that involve things that linger for days and years and things like that, the PTSD type stuff. So we're glad to have that. We've obviously had a year of a few tragedies in our community anyhow, and our officers and firefighters have seen quite a bit, and this actually helps us enhance that debriefing afterwards. That's all I got. I'm squeaking.
Chief, how did that come about, getting that extra service for officers?
Honestly, it's been around a long time. We just haven't really, taken part in it, and I felt it was time. We, a year ago, went with a new policy company called Lexapol, and there's trained on staff policy writers, attorneys, folks that keep our operating procedures up to date at all times. That's what we pay them to do. It's a little expensive, but it's important to be in compliance with the Attorney General's office and DCJS and people like that. So that I get an update, they send me an update, I add it to our policy, and with that cookie cutter policy that we originally got, they stressed a officer wellness program, and we took advantage of that and kind of are getting off the ground with that. So this is one of the trainings that I felt was necessary and important with an officer wellness program, is making sure that we're debriefing our people after these incidents the right way.
That's great. Well done.
So, well, it gets worse and worse throughout the career if you don't have the ways to cope with some of this stuff. So hopefully it works, and folks that teach it claim it does. So let's hope so. Yeah.
Thank you, Pat. Dave?
Yeah, so I got quite a few things. Sorry, I'll probably be longer than Pat today. First off, with our bridges on Fillmore and Church, the apparent low bidder, Oak Grove, has submitted the good faith effort to the DOT, which is to try to provide enough diverse workforce for it. I talked about it the last board meeting. So we're hoping that moves forward. I'll keep you guys up to speed. That's the only thing we're waiting for, is just to go ahead on that. For the other 3 bridges that we're doing over the next 2 years after this, we spent the past couple months with drill rigs going through all of them, doing bore samples to start the design process. So just in case you saw a ton of billing on that, even though we're not doing it right now, that's to make sure that they build it properly. Sweet Road is, right now, we moved it up to April 28th. As you've heard a lot in the news about a lot of uncertainty with tariffs and things, we've had a very nice dip in asphalt that occurred because of it. So we actually, if we can get this in before May 1st, it dropped below the price that we paid both last year and the year before. So we're trying to rush to get into that. So, of course, we don't have a crystal ball if it's going to continue to drop or not, but traditionally in the summer it goes up higher and higher. But just that savings alone was about $25,000. So the drop in price was worth going on it. Unfortunately, though, because, we're starting to look at all the costs that we had during the winter. It was a very challenging winter. I think everybody heard all the news about the salt shortages and all the, obvious bad weather we had. The costs of last winter were a lot more than we normally have. So at this time, I made the decision to cut out a section of Sweet Road, just to err on the side of caution. and not pave the section from Center East down to Underhill. It was last paved in 2007. It's the newest section of that road. The other road portions were back in 1993. So, so I just made the decision to do that. I'm not saying we won't do it, but I think that we really should look at, already ahead for next winter. It's going to be a tough winter. The SALT Act has not been repealed, so there could be challenges there. A lot of us are looking at different brine options, different ways to deal with this. I know we're currently working with our grant writer about possibly a grant for more salt storage capacity to try to address it. So I just wanted to let you know that we're going to hold off on that one section, just to err on the side of caution. Our overtime was tremendous and our costs. So we got to remember we still have half a winter to go in this budget year. So I will be bringing that all to the board probably in the next work session or two to go over all that, to see how we're going to move some things around to accommodate for that. Besides that, that's a good thing. I talked to the school. We're working hard with them to make sure they're ready for the Sweet Road project. It's going to be a little difficult to work with a school that's open at that time. So ask for the patience, but we'll get through it, and so will they. And I will make sure to let the bus companies know and all that. So yeah, hopefully at the next board meeting, we've gotten through day number one. It's probably 3 or 4 days of paving. It's going to be a very tough job. A lot of traffic up there.
Did do you want to code red that too? I saw you
Yes,
posted on
yes.
Facebook.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah. As we get closer, let's wait until the week before. We're really looking at our 2-week forecast right now. Believe it or not, it looks excellent, even into that week. But I'd rather call you or Joe, whoever does that, probably like by Wednesday next week, and look at that, because it could change quick.
Yeah, I'm just thinking we may want to go expand it, not just to that road,
Yeah.
with the impact on the high school. It might be, but.
Yeah, I talked to Terry Sprague, who's dealing with Principal Roberts or Rogers, one of them, I forget. And they're going to make sure they let all the children know, to let their parents know. Our plan right now is to do the dead end stub down on Sweet by Underhill. And that should take us all morning, that first morning, and we probably won't get up to the high school till probably 9 or 10 o'clock. So we're hoping to hit that high school right after the rush is in there and try to get the hell out of there, or heck out of there.
So you'll do that, you're going to do that section down there and then skip the section up to Center?
Well, we're not paving that section. That's
Right.
what I was saying. So yeah, so as we work that first morning on the 28th, we'll do that dead end, which is just a one-lane road.
Yeah, right.
And that'll allow hopefully all the main problems to get through. We are going to provide traffic control on Center Street. I talked to Ryan Russ about that. So if we have to shut down the 2 entrances temporarily, we definitely will at some times. At those times, we'll provide traffic control up on Center Street so that we can help them not to bottleneck. So usually it takes about 2-3 hours for the pavement to be properly cooled enough to go on it, but with buses, yeah, those entrances will be shut down for a few hours. We're going to try to time it in the best timing we can, but worst case, we're going to put the traffic control on Center, and we'll literally be up there the whole job. Yeah.
It's my wife's route,
Are the bore samples, Dave, for it's culverts, right?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that in the creek bed, or is that in the road adjoining?
Yeah.
Where exactly do
You know,
the
so-
bore samples?
It depends on which job. The ones in the village absolutely are in the road, because there's no alteration. But when you're up on like Cornwall, where we hit the most problems, was up there because we were going to originally try to realign the box to try to get the curve out of it. When we got the bore samples up there, because of where the shale veins are, we realized now we can't do that. So we have to now do an angled culvert. So what they're doing is really for like the village with Tannery Brook, a lot of it's silt. So it's trying to figure out how much weight can
In the creek
hold.
bed?
Yeah, yeah. You know, I
So
don't know if
that's on piers?
No,
Not
it's
necessarily,
footers,
just
but.
take it And it'll be cleared out?
Well, I guess it could be. I guess it depends on what these bore samples say. So like when you get into there, and if you remember, and I know you were down at those jobs a lot, the hole that you dig to put those culverts is pretty large. So that's really deciding how much subbase is going to be required, how big the end footers are, Or, like you said, over on Fillmore, that's a three-sided box to try to get around that. So a lot of it, Tannery Brook is a really difficult project because it's literally just muck in there. You know, when we did those rock walls over on Whaley, we found out the hard way. We thought it was only going to take so much, but we had to dig to China to get the solid ground, and that caused kind of an overage on the rock. I think you remember that. So the whole plan with the core samples is to help the engineer,
Let you know.
the hope, well, you hope, you know, and that's what they're doing now. And of course, as you know, these are DOT projects, so they want all that too, to make sure they're not spending a ton of money on these bridges that we have sink, you know, so, yeah, so it's a little different with Cornwall, though. That's up in the shale, up in the ravine. Yeah, so I hope that answers that.
Yep.
But it was a lot of money. You know, we were on it for right through winter. I don't even know, 3 or 4 weeks. We were up there with helping with traffic control. But everything is ready. We did go get the last trees down to get around the bat rule on Church Street. So we're hoping with the DEI approval with Oak Grove, I think we're good to go. But
Okay.
it's out of our hands.
Speaking of culverts, did you see that they got on 240?
Yeah.
They took we went there with the state, the culvert. How did that happen? Because they told us, they're like, the culvert's big enough, it's good, we don't have to do it. And now
Yeah.
it's tore out.
Well,
Yeah.
they were wrong.
They were,
That's the proof.
And actually, I don't think Chuck was involved. That covered, I think it was Jim Bach, that's been like a discussion for a very long time.
yeah, when I went by
And
that.
obviously, they were wrong.
Yeah, I was I'm like, oh, we got that. I didn't think we got that, but, yeah. all right.
Yeah, no, as far as the town roads, you hear a lot of pothole situations. We actually did pretty good on potholes this year. We got some scaffolding going on Beach Road, a little bit on our little section of Grover, but the worst of our stuff is on Sweet. So, you know, when you hear about a lot of the pothole issues, and, you know, I'm proud to say that we've done pretty good. We're not in too bad a shape. But with this good weather coming, we'll probably get that wrapped up pretty quick. Parks is opening up. This week, we really started rolling and aerating. You know, it's our busy season, so that's it.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
We're going to do something we don't normally do. I think we have a member of our audience who wants to come up and speak to us. Is that right?
Oh, I just had a question.
Come up to the mic if you would and give us your name.
It's not like a huge question.
That's all right. Come on up. We want to get you on record, just in case.
Is your question, is it always this fun
What?
at the meetings?
I don't know, it's my
It's the only one she's been to.
first. Okay, hi, my name's Chelsea Bouthier. Member of East Aurora High School, I'm a senior this year. I was just gonna ask about the bump on Sweet. How that happened, is anything gonna be done about it, or is it just gonna get paved over?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So usually when we plan a road, I'm the highway superintendent for the town. This is the town board, I'm separate. So when we usually plan a road, it usually is a year process ahead of time. So what we first do, one of the most important things is to look at what's underneath the ground. So where you're talking about that big depth up from the high school, what that was a rotted out old pipe that was about 6 feet in diameter. It was actually a very large job. So what we want to do that is like a year ahead of time. So we did that last fall, and that would give the freeze thaw after we bed it in material. The freeze thaw allows it to settle it in for the next 100 years, hopefully. So as you saw over the winter, it slowly became a whip-de-doo, right? All right, so good news, today we fixed it. So, so that's the next part of the process,
Asking
and
you, Shelley.
yeah, so that's the next stage of the process. Yeah, we do pave over it, but what we do now is called T&L in it. So what we're trying to do is get it as level as we can. So when the paver rides across it, a paver is a huge machine. If you have any kind of whip-de-doos going on, it's going to follow the whip-de-doo. You're going to have it forever. So right now, we're going to probably do a couple coats, skim coats of T&L in it, so that hopefully you don't have much of a whip-de-doo in the future, but I think you'll be fine.
Awesome.
Tomorrow it's in better shape.
Awesome.
Okay.
Great for my car.
Dave,
You're
did you,
seniors, so you don't have to worry too much.
did you want to talk to her about the speed bumps that you're putting in on Sweet coming out of the high school about every 20 feet, right, on the new road?
You'll talk about the cameras, right?
Yeah. He's joking.
I would hope.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Nice question.
Well, it's like you were prepared to come give me that question tonight. Just to make me look good.
All right.
Martha, do you need a spelling on whip-de-doo? Okay.
Oh, we got a lot of highway terms.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Jim, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ray. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Whoop-de-doos.
Whoop-de-doo.
So much more sense.
I just gotta get Mark for the.
Not like it went far well.